from your eyes.
Legends, it's time again. We're doing another brew day. Today we're brewing the Brew Time West Coast IPA, which I actually brewed a couple of months ago and absolutely love it. It's fantastic. The only thing was that I found is I used Kveik yeast and gave it that kind of juiciness that probably isn't typical in a West Coast IPA. So I'm going to do it again. This is the first beer that I'm actually going to do twice as well. So I think it's a good opportunity to kind of have a look at what I did the first time to the second time there too, and do a bit of comparison there as well. I am going to be using a West Coast yeast for this brew there as well. I've grabbed the Mangrove Jacks yeast. I'll talk about that in a moment, and I'll also pop on a photo of the West Coast IPA that I did brew the first time as well, just so you can see the difference in what I'm talking about with the I think you could call it a slight haze to the beer as well. So too easy, let's get into it. About to do my water chemistry. Just got the mash water heating up. Got the grain here there too, so I'll mix that through. There's the Brew Time West Coast IPA. Right. Just measured on the water chemistry. Give that a stir. Good stir, and the mash water is nearly at 70 degrees. Gonna drop that down to 65 and then start to pour my grain in. And I'm aiming for a 65 degree mash in this one, so hopefully get that full conversion, which would be good. Hoping for a good mash efficiency today. You're just about to hit 70, which is good. Obviously you want that to be 5 degrees higher than your mash, because obviously the grain will bring that down. So let's start mashing. Good to kind of mix up as you go along. Just make sure you get all those dough balls as well. Halogen, more the merrier. As you can see, you're watching the sun come up. Nice, isn't it? A good day here in Brewzilla today. 20 degrees. I've given that a good mix through. I'm just going to let that sit for 10 minutes before I start the mash timer there as well. I think that's something that I've probably done wrong, is just to kind of let it settle for 10 minutes before actually starting the mash timer of 60 minutes, just to make sure that temp is good, and I guess we're getting the mash efficiency that we want as well. So I'll leave that for another 10 minutes and then we'll get the mash started. 10 minutes into the mash, looks like it's going well. The temperature down here is playing up a little bit. I don't think it's 70 degrees, but yeah, it should be 66 degrees, no doubt. Alright, legends, we're about to start our sparge. It's coming in really nicely. I've had no flow issues whatsoever, and I definitely guarantee it's a rice hulls. Nice grain bed as well. As I spoke about before, it's probably about 6 kilograms of grain, which is really good. So it's all coming along. But yeah, we're about to start our sparge. I've got my sparge water warming up over here, just there. Sparging with essentially 10 litres of water as well. So we'll get that started, bring it up to the boil and take our first reading, and then start our hop process. The hops we got going in we call it the hot side of the boil, 12 grams of Chinook at 30 minutes, and then we've got 18 grams of Chinook at 5 minutes, and then we're going to be doing a hop stand for 20 minutes at 78 degrees, 50 grams Nectaron, 50 grams Strata, and then 45 grams Enigma. So yeah, great flavour profiles. Gonna go really well with that biscuity, toffee kind of grain bed. Let's get my hops ready. Nearly at the boil. Good to go. Going to do a pre-boil gravity reading now. The result is in 1.049 and the target was 1.050. So point down, I'm not really too fussed as well. The only reason being is because my pre-boil gravity readings have always been pretty much what my final gravity reading is. So let's see how that pans out. What is the final... Just going to see what the original gravity is meant to be on this beer. That's probably a good start, isn't it? Let's go to the batch, shall we? Original gravity 1.058. So remember as well, we're going to put a bit of Dex in there too, so that's going to kind of put that up. Decide I'm going to use it, by the way. All right, 30-minute boil edition Chinook, 12 grams soon. All right, we've also measured our 12 grams of Chinook that's going into the boil. So that is Chinook grape bittering hop, you know, that kind of spicy, piney, grapefruity type hop, so it goes really well in the boil editions. Right, 10 minutes to go, I'm going to put my worth tablet in. Also going to be popping in 200 grams of Dex. This is actually just 100, so I've got to go get the other 100 now. Also, while I was there, measured my 18 grams of Chinook, which is going 5 minutes to go on the boil. And then we'll start our hop stand. I've also just popped in the chiller into the boil now, just to sanitize that too. I've already sanitized it, but just that extra bit of precaution. I will say there's a leak in here somewhere, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too much of an issue. But nevertheless, we'll see how we go. Turn it on, we're going to cool it down to 78 degrees, and then we're going to chuck our hop stand hops in.
Right, 50 grams of Nectaron, 45 grams of Enigma, and 50 grams of Strata going into the hop stand. I will say that that is at 81 degrees at the moment, but I have tested the temperature in the actual wort itself, and it's about 70 degrees, so I'm hoping it's going to be okay. I'm sure it will. Don't mind the alfoil, but just wanted to talk to, so when I was doing the temp with the probe, it was saying 68 degrees when I threw those hop stand hops in, but Brewzilla was adamant that it was around that 80 degrees, so yeah, look, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Obviously, if it's kind of at that 80 degree mark, you're going to get a lot of the flavour from the hops anyway, so that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping it kind of didn't go the opposite way, where it wasn't, the temperature wasn't high enough where you're not going to extract, obviously, the hop oils, so yeah, there's nothing you can do about it now, but could be the best beer I've ever made. Who knows, hey? We'll see. Better turn off the chiller. We're at 35 degrees at the moment, so I want to throw it into the fermenter at about 25 and let it sit maybe for an hour or two, and then pitch my yeast, and then we'll throw it in the temp control fridge. Gonna be fermenting pretty much at the start. Got another beer fermenting at the moment, which is currently at 18 degrees, so we're going to probably start around that 18 degree mark for a few days, do our dry hop, then probably closer to the end of next week, maybe about 7-8 days in, I'll ramp it up to 22. It's going to be hard to get up though anyway, so I might just stay at 18 degrees the whole time. Now to clean. That sucks. It's already in the temp controlled fridge, ready to go. So the only problem I have now is that's going up, which is good. So that the current one that's in there is at 18 degrees at the moment, and I just want to see what this one has come down to, because I want to make sure I'm pitching the yeast obviously under that 22 degrees, but I want to probably pitch it a little bit lower. So I might even wait till later today just to see what it comes down to. Pitch my yeast again. I'm using, what am I using? Mangroves Jack's M44 West Coast yeast. It says here, sprinkle contents directly into a maximum of 23 litres of wort at 18 to 23 degrees. So if it is under 23 degrees, I'll pitch it, and then obviously ferment within that range and be all good. It is brew time, West Coast IPA tasting time. This is what the best part of the process, right, is tasting the produce. Again, this is the second time I brewed it, so I'm looking forward to tasting the difference there as well. Two different yeasts, of course. I used Kvike the first time, and I've used Mangroves Jack's West Coast yeast this time. So again, really keen to see how that turns out. So let's do the pour, and we'll get into the tasting. Bit of a better light there, I think, as well. So that's what it's turned out to be. Quite a nice orange tinge to it. I'm just looking at what the EBC is meant to be. It looks a little bit lighter than what I thought it would have been, to be honest with you. Hopefully it's not too slightly oxidized, but no, it looks okay. Probably has a little bit more clearing to do as well, but that's yeah, that's it's turned out to be quite juicy looking, actually. Definitely getting yeah, those fruits on the nose, the stone fruits, passion fruit with that strata dry hop, I think, is really shining through. Bit of grassiness about it as well. Finished at 6.2%. Sessionable these days. Ooh, that's very nice. Yeah, very nice.
bitterness is a little bit stronger than last time as well. I can definitely taste the bitterness to it. Ooh, it's very nice. Definitely getting intense, tropical fruit aroma. I can really taste the pineapple as well, and I think that probably comes from the nectaron. Even on the nose, you can. It's like a intense kind of pineapple flavor. Really cool. And passion fruit just sings out, I think, as well. Strata nectaron generally has a passion fruit aroma. This is a super recipe that I think you've got to have it on tap, right? West Coast IPA, you can't go wrong. I think as well too, probably don't have to go such a heavy dry hop like I did. You can probably even dim that down a little bit. It's still, it just makes it though. Oh, just such a good beer. Definitely want to have this on tap, for friends and family all the time. It's just super crisp. Super approachable. Probably 6.2%. You can taste it there. You can't hide that 6.2%. So generally you're only going to have a couple of them, 2 or 3. Awesome. Anyone who knows me too, I like to let my beers get a little bit warmer. My cousin, great man, is also one of those that just allow it to get a little bit warm, really open up, and it just pops, right? So now I'm starting to get different flavors than I was before. I'm getting, even like an apricot. The melon starts to ring true as well. There's a bit of enigma in it where you might get different. Enigma's I think is really well known for its like rock melon, so like that melon kind of tone. Even like a weird raspberry or something. It's really hard when you're trying to taste it, and you're getting all these kind of mixed fruits. But that's the journey of your beer as well, right? So it's really good fun. And it gets better when it gets warmer. It's a little bit more bitter, and that's fine. Such good beer. Happy to have that as a core for me. Absolutely. Anyway, yeah, enjoy. If you are making this beer, you'll be right. Again, it's heavily dry hopped. In the end, about 200 grams worth. But I think a sensational drop, and you will make this many times over as well, which will be good fun for you. But cheers! I'm actually also going to make eventually there as well, like a little brother to it, too. So kind of do a more of a pale ale version of this beer too, because I think from a cost perspective, it'd be really good to try that too. Kind of compare side by side as well eventually. But so here we go. Cheers anyway, guys. Thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe as well.